Congratulations. You got into the habit of working out in the gym and starting to build your 10 out of 10 body that you deserve and what you always wanted. You have made some gains, you are eating well, you see some muscle growing on your body, you are getting stronger, you will do sets with harder weights, and everything just seems like forever growing, right? Well, if you're in this journey and you just start to love exercising, you see yourself gaining the mass, you gain the strength, you see that how your body changes with the exercises and that is just a, a good thing to see, right? You are growing, you are evolving, and growing is good, and you're becoming more stronger mentally and physically. But if you are in this path of working out, I'm sure you probably heard of injuries. All those videos of how guys are doing these exercises in a completely wrong way, and they just twist up their ligaments, they tear up their muscles, or the ligaments of the muscles, they tear up their tendons, they broke their back, they broke their necks, they just hurt themselves pretty badly. And I'm sure you know how to avoid those common mistakes in the gym as well, to avoid getting injured and to avoid getting disabled from just doing some heavy exercises with heavy weights, right? So I want you to hold on to that careful idea of just doing the exercises at your own physical strength level, right? Don't try to do anything that's out of the level of how strong you are and injure yourself pretty badly. And maybe if you're unlucky, you will be crippled for like the rest of your life. Now, hold on to that belief, right? Hold on to that idea of being careful and just trying to do the exercises correctly and not doing the ego lifts, which is just lifting with heavy weights and just throwing weights around. And when you do this, it's just a matter of time when you actually injure yourself pretty badly. But as you are working out, you see some of these bodily changes on you. You see your you see where the muscle starts to grow the fastest, and you see the new definition of muscle on your on your shoulders, on your back, on your arms, or on your chest, or on your legs, right? And you naturally start to you start to like those exercises that brought you the biggest growth, right? You start to do those exercises more often, and you do them with more heavier reps. You can add more reps, you can add more exercises to this one muscle group, and you can add more, and you can add more weight to your dumbbells or your crowbar or whatever, right? And that is the thing. That's the danger in it. It's it's not only that you now are growing more muscle and the muscle groups are getting more stronger, but there is a hidden risk in it. So let's take an example from me. When I started to really like the exercises of dumbbell front raises or dumbbell side raises, I just loved the exercise and I loved the results that it gave me. My shoulder became like this massive ball of muscle, and it was really cool to look in the mirror. It's just this having more wider shoulders and just looking defined, and those little stripes at the top, right? Well, that's all the external muscle of deltoid muscle, right? But when you do this deltoid with front dumbbell raises or side dumbbell raises or whatever, shoulder presses in upwards position, right? It all, yes, they will all develop your deltoids, right? It will like the front, the side, and the back deltoids just get bigger and more defined, and it's just like you love it, you like it, and you start doing this more often, and you add more weights to your exercises that the weights are heavier. You will add more reps, you may add more sets, or you just add a whole complete new exercise. And it seems like you can tolerate all those exercises as well, because you're just getting stronger, your muscle is getting bigger, and you naturally just you do the progressive overload, and you just want to grow and grow until your natural limit, right? Well, the problem is with that. Well, the exterior, the deltoid muscle, it just grows with the exercises that you're doing, and it gets stronger. But these are the exterior muscle group of your arm. But inside of your shoulder, there are rotator cuff muscles that are just stabilizing muscles for your arm. They work together to ensure the stability of the shoulder joint during the movement, right? They are stabilizer muscles. They are both in the front, back, and on the side to like keep the arm from falling out of the socket. And that's a very dangerous thing because you probably do not exercise those muscles. You're getting stronger on the outside with the deltoid muscle, but the rotator cuff muscles, they are just stabilizer muscles, and they will not get any exercises at all with any of the exercises that you're doing for your shoulder muscle, right? Those stabilizer muscle, they will stay as they are. They do not grow. They grow very little with the exercises that you're doing, and they do not develop at all, pretty much. And one time, you will arrive into this event of your weights will get heavier and heavier with the exercises like dumbbell front or side raises or whatever, dumbbell presses. Your weights get heavier, your deltoid gets bigger, but your stabilizer muscles, they stay the same, and they will start to having difficulties in like holding all of this together. With the heavy ass weights, your arm moving very heavy weights during your shoulder workouts, and eventually they will just can't hold it together, and because the workload is too heavy, too intense, and they will snap. Just like that. And for me, it was this burning pain on the top of my shoulder. It hurted so bad. I felt like I broken something. Felt like someone was burning my shoulder with a flame torch or with something, right? And most likely I had a partial tear of my rotator cuff, the one that is right at the top. And I couldn't move my arm properly for at least 2 to 3 months. I just couldn't. It hurt so bad, and I just avoided the movement with this arm completely. And I was off from gym at least, 3 months. I couldn't do anything. It was like my right hand was completely crippled, and that rotator cuff tear, they can just come from any kind of sudden movement that you're making with your arm, because you're just overworking also the stabilizer muscle. You're just trying to hold it together when you are like throwing around heavy dumbbells in in multiple ways, and they are just so worn up, and they can just snap at any given time. When you have been doing this exercise for as long as at least for a couple of years, they can just eventually snap something as in just simple exercise as swimming. I remember I went to swimming and just wanted to do some fast swimming, and it felt exactly the same. I felt this a little weird twist and tearing on my right shoulder, and yeah, that was it. That was the injury. I teared up my rotatory cuff. This is bound to happen to any guy who doesn't exercise their rotator cuff muscles and just works on their shoulders mainly, on their deltoids, right? Eventually, the weights are going to get heavier, and the stabilizor muscles in your shoulder, they just get so tired and worn up by the amount of heavy weight lifting and other exercises that they eventually just could snap. But there is a way to prevent this. You know, a rotatory cuff, recovery from this, you may truly never recover. You will either recover to at least 80 to 90% of the state that you were before the injury. And I still feel like when I make any kind of a sudden movement, I feel like my shoulder is kind of wobbling out of the socket, or just almost like getting out of the position that it has to be in, and it's getting out of the socket, but it's not. But the feeling is still kind of like the same, the tearing of the muscle, right? And it's not pleasant. I had this little fear also, like I can't do any kind of sudden movements with my right arm because of the fear of, again, tearing up the rotator cuff muscles. And now I just have to avoid anything that's out of the sudden and with heavy weights and that isn't a heavy burden on the shoulder, right? So it's a kind of limiting factor also. You can't do like the things you did before, like sudden burst or explosive exercises or Olympic sports or into fighting when you have to use your arm in certain exercises. Rotatory cuff injury can be a limiting factor for your future performance in that field, right? So, but luckily you can now take this into your mind and to take into 100% consideration of doing the rotatory cuff exercises right before you hit your main workout, right? Well, most likely every gym has these resistance bands with the handles on both sides, and the other one that is just a full circular rubber band, right? And you do the exercises of 3 to 4 sets, similar like to dumbbell raise. You grab it on the front and you just do the half rotation to the top, and the repetitions of 25, and it starts to grow with every next set until you may reach 45. Well, this is how I do. You do the exact same thing of progressive overloading with reps, right? So you do this for both arms, front raises and back raises, and these exercises will make your stabilizer muscles stronger. So you will not injure them or tear them up when you're doing your next shoulder exercise with the heavy weights, right? Third exercise, which is just taking this circular rubber band, and you'll pull the rubber band apart, almost and you keep this tense position, and you will do front raises of 20 to 35 or 40 repetitions. And when you do these exercises, you feel like you're working on the muscles that you have never worked before. You feel it right away after the fourth set. So start with light weights, and you can just progress towards like more harder rubber bands. And it's just a point of getting your rotatory cuff muscles stronger, so that you will not injure yourself in the future, and hopefully prevent the total like tear of your stabilizor muscle, which could like reduce the freedom of your arm movement in a significant way. Like it's just one of those injuries that you don't want to have, as well as with the back injuries, as well as a neck or leg injuries. I urge you to do this exercise the very next time you go into the gym. Avoid any kind of stupid ego lifting with heavy weights. Don't tear up your ligaments. Don't tear up your muscles. Don't rupture your tendons, and don't injure your back, your neck, or your legs. Do the exercises smartly. Grow your muscles and get your gains without hurting or injuring or crippling yourself because you just got too proud. It's not good. It's not healthy. What's the point? Okay, so stay sharp and stay aware.